actually hurt.
No, I think she is.
Yeah, she's hurt. She took a hard fall off there. Oh, gosh, I hope she's okay.
Well, speaking of minions, huh? Scottie Scheffler, not a minion. Welcome in. We'll start off there. It's the Daily Puck Drop here on pucksports.com. Of course, you can also watch on YouTube. Listen to it as well. Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music. Our guest here on the Daily Puck Drop, if you're watching, it's the beautiful Andres Gonzales. You can follow him on social media at Andres_Gonzales, PGA Tour Live, Sirius XM, PGA Tour Radio. He does all things golf, and he's got a fantastic Mariners hat on. If you're just listening to this, go back to the YouTube page at some point or at pucksports.com and look at the Mariners hat that he is wearing. But he's joining us here on the Daily Puck Drop. Real quick, we air it every single day, 10 a.m. on all these platforms, giving you the best and recap of the night before in sports, and, of course, looking ahead to the day in the world of sports. And we got to talk quickly. Andres is with us to talk about yesterday's Masters. Scottie Scheffler wins another green jacket. Dre, his second green jacket in just 5 attempts. And early on, it didn't look like he was going to win it. He didn't look all that great. But in that early first few holes, I guess, as he stumbled or was stumbling, no one really grabbed it from him. But at the end of the day, he was cool, calm, and collected, and walks away with another green jacket and did so relatively easy.
Yeah, he did not have any issue coming down the stretch. And, you say he stumbled a little bit, but it's tough to really even say that. Yeah, he picked up a bogey at 4, followed by he made a birdie at 3, followed up with a bogey at 4, and then bogeyed at 7. So he's 1 over through 7 holes, but just kind of, like you said, stayed cool, calm, collected, which is just kind of his MO. He just never really seems to get too excited, up or down, whatever it may be. And that's the reason that he's the number one player in the world. He is just so consistent and believes in himself enough that he knows that good things are going to come just as long as he stays persistent. And I think the fact that he was able to jump out to a lead after birdieing 8, 9, and 10. Mm-hmm. Once he started picking up that lead at 10, he still made a bogey at 11, but he just knows that if he does what he's supposed to do, he's better than everybody. And that is a great card to have in your back pocket. If you can play with that kind of confidence and know that everybody else has to come to you, you don't really have to attack. You can just kind of go around and pad statistics as far as fairways and greens. And when you're the best iron player on the planet, your padding stats are usually giving you pretty good birdie looks.
What was he was asked this yesterday, I think, in his press conference. What was the difference, or excuse me, the biggest hole, in your opinion, for Scheffler, and why he put on the jacket one more time yesterday?
I think it was really coming off of birdies at 8 and 9 and then coming to 10. I think 10 is one of the more difficult holes on the golf course where if you don't hit a good drive, it can get you out of place. And he hit a perfect shot, leaving himself right around 10, 12 feet on the 10th hole, just long right of the hole. And it's a very quick putt. So in my opinion, that putt right there was a huge solidifier, just letting him know that his nerves were there and that he was ready for the situation. Getting that little quick putt to fall right in the heart. I don't think it would have missed a shot glass if he would have been putting to a smaller cup. But knowing that your nerves are good as you're heading into the back 9 and amen corner, I think was a huge putt for him.
And congratulations. We did this show. We aired it last week, and I think we recorded it on a Sunday or a Sunday. And so you Sunday, and I asked you, give us a surprise golfer. Give us somebody that's a little off the radar. Now, this guy wasn't totally off the radar, but many people were picking him to win the thing. And you said Ludwig Aubert. And that was the guy you'd mentioned on here, and that son of a gun damn near won the thing. What the hell, man? I am taking all my gambling advice on golf now from you, my friend.
The kid is just a freak. At this time last year, he was in college. He was playing his conference championship for Texas Tech University.
Yeah.
And he wasn't even in the world rankings, and he went into this week at number 9. And I would guess that he moves up to 7, maybe even 6, but just his ascent on the world golf rankings is absolutely insane. As well as Scotty's playing right now, winning 3 of his last 4 tournaments and finishing second in his last one. I think it's just as incredible what this kid's doing at such a young age and coming up. He's already won on the DP World Tour. He was a definite factor at the Ryder Cup back in September. He won on the PGA Tour back in November. And now he finished second. Not only this, we mentioned this last time, as far as being 9th in the world, you'd think that this is multiple majors now for him. This is his first major appearance, let alone his first Masters. And to come out here,
Crazy.
and I think that this is a crazy success story, even though he didn't get the win. I'm sure he wanted that, but finishing second alone and finishing second by 3 shots, that's a major thing. And I think everybody on the planet is well aware of what Scottie Scheffler's doing. And we are seeing something really special. And this is kind of the likes of Tiger Woods. I know that he's well behind as far as the amount of wins that he has, but give him a little bit of time. What we're seeing right now from Scottie Scheffler and Ludwig Oberg is incredible.
Yeah, going back to Ludwig for a second. He just, I mean, one, it's the swing is just beautiful. He has this great aura about him on the course. I mean, all of his little mannerisms and his looks yesterday when he makes those, what was it, the long putt on 8 or 9 that he drained? Or was that 7? Now I'm blanking on which hole it was. The one that was just like, he misses, the thing's going to run by 10 feet. And he has that look. He almost did the Jordan shrug when Jordan in the NBA Finals had hitting all those threes against the Blazers or the Lakers. And he just, I don't know, he's very likable. And what I love about it was that 9, yeah. What I love about him is that he gets his club, he gets the yardage, he takes like 2 seconds and hits the ball. And I just think that is, I think so many of these players, and even not only the pros, recreational golfers, we just stand over the ball for so long, and I think we psych ourselves out. He gets up there and just club, looks at the ball, looks at the target, hits the ball. I mean, he plays fast, man, and doesn't allow, I don't know what you think, doesn't allow maybe any type of doubt or second thoughts to creep into his mind at all.
It's very refreshing, especially in a day where pace of play is a constant issue for professionals and amateurs, just pace of play. But you're right. There's no second thought. It's straight to the point. He knows what he's going to do. And once you have the number, if there's wind, all right, it's 10 miles an hour into you. It's going to be playing, let's call it 10 yards just to use round numbers. What more do you have to think about?
Yeah.
I never understand how much information you're bringing in, how much information is too much information. But you're right. He makes a decision and he hits the ball. And as far as I'm concerned, this guy is built in a lab. He's 6'3", 6'4". There's no extra movement in his golf swing. It is so efficient is the only word that comes to mind. And it looks like he's having fun. You said that he gave that little shoulder shrug. Later in the round, he gave a couple little smiles when he knew he was hitting good shots and looked at his caddy, and his caddy acknowledged it. But he's having a good time, and I think that it was a great move for his caddy, Joe Scovern. He switched from Ricky Fowler over to Tom Kim. Then he switched from Tom Kim over to Ludwig Oberg, and I think that that's going to be a very profitable business decision for him because this guy is just going to keep getting better and better. And as far as I'm concerned, Scottie Scheffler and Ludwig Oberg, those are going to be the 2 guys that are battling for the next 10 years.
Going back to Scotty just for a quick second, Andres Gonzales with us, brought to you about Pursuit Distilling, and we can get a couple of notes in there about Pursuit Distilling here in a quick second from Dre. But the press conference, not only, on the outside, but inside, he just comes across as one of the most likable, approachable, normal superstars in a sport I think I've ever come across. He just seems like.
Are we talking about Ludwig or are we talking about Scotty? Because they're both the same to me.
Kind of the same, but I'm talking about Scotty for a second.
Yes.
He just, I don't know. I watched that press conference yesterday when he's sitting in there and he came across as so normal, nothing cliche, speaking from the heart. He just, answered every question, and he's got that goofy little laugh. He just seems like your guy next door that after he's done cutting the lawn, comes over and has a beer with you. You sit there and just kind of, shoot the shit for a little while. He's refreshing. He's so damn refreshing to watch and listen to.
Yeah, in the whole social media scheme of things and the internet, I think a lot of people just love to hate for no reason. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that there's a lot of people that aren't quite convinced just because they don't think that he's a superstar. They think that maybe he's a little too milk toast or just plain, right? There's
Yeah.
nothing that he goes out and finds, but I think that's what's going to make him a superstar is the fact that he's going to continue to win and he's letting his golf clubs do the talking. There's no reason to go and do all these extra endorsement deals. There's no reason to be in the media. Let your golf clubs do the talking. Keep on winning. And at some point, people are going to be like, oh man, we are seeing something special. And that's what makes a superstar. He doesn't get outside of himself. He is focusing on what is going to make his game better and his life better. Anything outside of that doesn't really matter to him all that much. So I think it's great. I love listening to him here, just how grounded he is. And he's God fearing and is doing everything in his power just to be as good as he can and try his hardest. I think that was the biggest quote that I got. I try my hardest on every shot. That's all you can ask. When you're teaching little league or you're teaching young kids, that's all you can ask is try your
Right.
hardest and let's try to control our emotions.
Yeah, he's great. He's so damn fun to watch. And just the career ahead of him is going to be sensational. A lot was made in Butler Cabin, which I still find is so uncomfortable when they go in there. A lot was made with the jacket ceremony in Butler Cabin between Rahm and Scheffler. Did it seem icy to you? Now, when they went outside, it didn't seem icy. It looked great. It looked fine. And I had only seen the outside stuff, and then I saw inside later. Did it come across icy to you, as many on social media pointed out?
Not as much as maybe some people thought. I think that Rahm may have been a little bit icy because, I mean, I don't even know what he finished. He finished 40 something.
Yeah, didn't want to
And
be there. Finished hours ahead.
he finished hours ahead of time. There's no reason that he would want to be there. He wanted to defend. He finished 45th, 9 over par. So he lost by 20 shots.
Yeah.
That's not the most comfortable feeling. I don't think that it was icy. I don't think there's any animosity towards Scotty. I don't think Scotty has any animosity towards Rahm. If we're going to compare it and talk about Liv, I think that Scotty's very understanding that he made a business decision that's going to take care of his family for generations. But at the same time, the iciness that anybody may have felt is Rahm did not want to be there. He finished hours ahead of time. He didn't play great. He's probably a little bit embarrassed, and he's giving the green jacket to somebody else that he doesn't want to give it to. But as far as that goes, no, I don't think that there was. I just think that he had to wait around as part of the tradition and probably just didn't really want to be there.
Zach Johnson making headlines again. This is another
Crazy.
incident where he has had problems with fans. It was the Phoenix Open, and I'm thinking there was another incident. I think he's on the 12th hole. I think he doubles it and turns in the crowd, which they do. They putts in, they're clapping, and he turns back to the crowds and tells them to F off. Now, he says afterwards, I wasn't directing that to the crowd. I can't even hear the crowd. It is clear, though, as day when you watch the little clip that was provided on the channels that's out there on social media, he clearly was directing it towards the crowd. What is going on with him?
He's not playing good golf. So that's probably a big part of it. When you are kind of, it seems to be like he's kind of coming down the stretch to where he can kind of see the end of his playing days probably coming, especially with all these young guys, that hit it so far. And he's got to be absolutely perfect if he wants to compete these days. So that can lead into a little bit of frustration and kind of unknown, but the 11th, 12th, and 13th holes are kind of the areas on Augusta where players are away from the crowd let's
Yeah.
call it 80 yards on that hole in particular, right around 180 yards. They're away from the crowd. So you're not thinking that anybody can hear, but you got to understand that there's mics around you all the time. So the fact that that picked up, I'd also say, being on the media side, everything is a little bit delayed. So somebody screwed up. Like, what are we doing not bleeping that out? That should not be heard. But yeah, don't say that. And then to completely deny it,
Oh, yeah.
it was that was a bad look to me. So I don't know. He's going to get some repercussions of it. And when something like that happens, it already happened in Phoenix. It happened this week. Now fans are just going to get a green light to just start pestering this guy, and we're going to see if he does it anymore.
Of course. Okay, next up is PGA Championship. I mean, the talk is going to be with Scheffler, how well he's playing. Can he do the Grand Slam? He's going to be the heavy favorite in the PGA Championship. In fact, he's going to be the favorite in the last three majors, for sure. He definitely feels like he's got the DNA to pull this off.
Yeah, he will be the favorite. I think that he has the game, especially for majors. His ball striking is so good. Major championships usually rely so much on getting the ball in position off the tee and on the greens. It will be at Valhalla in Louisville, Kentucky. Yeah, I think it's a ball striker's golf course. It's a lot of trees, a lot of tree lines, and I think that he's going to be a factor as long as he continues to get better at putting, which he has been all this year. I don't think that if there's any chance he beats the field, just the average of the field in putting, he's going to win. His ball striking is just far too superior.
Yeah, well, we'll chat with you again at the PGA Championship when we get there. Dre's appearance is brought to you by Pursuit Distilling. Tell us about Pursuit Distilling, something obviously near and dear to your heart.
Yeah, family-owned distillery. Partners up there in Enumclaw, Washington. We have a tasting room on Cole Street. Check it out. Ton of fun. Good spot to sit there, have some libations, and there's usually some sports going on in the tasting room. So stop on by in Enumclaw, Washington to Pursuit Distilling Company.
Okay, we're going to do it next time at the PGA Championship. Okay, Dre?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there he is, Andres Gonzales. Follow him on social media at Andres_Gonzales. He'll join us throughout the golf season for the majors, brought to you by Pursuit Distilling. Thanks, Dre. We'll talk soon.
Thank you, Puck.
There he is, Dre, Andres Gonzales with us here on the Daily Puck Drop as we recap the first round of the Masters. And again, kind of what we talked about there with Dre is that Scottie Scheffler is just remarkable. 8, 9, and 10 to play at 3 under. Colin Morikawa, who screwed up on 8, 9, and 10 and played it at +1. 9 was the big killer for him. Max Homa not being able to, as he talked about, having that dog in him. It's just unfortunate for Max Homa that he could not pull it off. There were some moments, I think, for Max Homa to do it, but he just couldn't pull it out in the end. And back to Scottie Scheffler, I just think the most relatable superstar in sports that we have. He just seems like the everyday guy, your next door neighbor. He's just normal. You talked about he brings up religion a lot. I just want to quickly say this about him, but he doesn't overwhelm you with it. I think so. There's some professional athletes that they overwhelm you with it. He does not. There's like little subtle things he talks about, and then he kind of pivots and moves on. And it's very disarming, I think, how he handles himself. All right, let's switch gears to the Mariners. We'll have more later today at 1 o'clock when we release our segments with Jim Duquette, MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM, and, of course, Bill Kruger from Root Sports talking about the Mariners. But, just another disappointing series. They're now 6-10 on the season. They'll start a series coming up later here with the Reds. But they dropped 2 out of 3 to the Chicago Cubs. And once again, the offense just, can't do anything for them. Can't manage anything. Can't score any runs. Hancock on Saturday night, offense manages just 1 run. Emerson Hancock pitched his tail off, and your offense can't do anything. Friday is about the closest thing that you've seen to a really good game, is that you get a 4-2 win. Bryce Miller's excellent one more time in that Friday start. 6 1/3 does not allow a run. Your top 4 guys deliver, and you can see what this offense can do when your top 4 guys can deliver 5 hits and 3 runs driven in. Yesterday, finally we saw the good Luis Castillo. At times, there were still a couple of hiccups with Castillo, but you lose 3-2 because you just don't play clean baseball again. And some of the things that have been a problem a year ago continue to be a problem this year arose again. Again, they are. We'll get to the offense in a second. Castillo, 23 swing and misses, tied for the most in the majors this season in that game. It felt at times normal stuff from Castillo, but again, some of the issues this year cropped up one more time. Dansby Swanson gets him down 0-2, can't finish him off, and then Dansby Swanson hits a leadoff double. Michael Busch gets the count to 2-2, can't finish him off, 2-run home run. It's again that there was a lot of good yesterday from Castillo, but again, there crops up the bad from him, and we'll talk to Kruger about it coming up on his appearance later today, which again will released at 1 o'clock. All guests being released at 1 o'clock. Just FYI, Daily Puck Drop at 10, guests at 1 o'clock. Why he just cannot get over this hump of finishing guys off. But the offense, their inability just to score runs. 0-10 this season when trailing after the 6th inning. So they're not coming back. They're not making any rallies. They're 0-9 when the other team scores first. They have not won a single game this season when the other team has scored first. It's the 7th time already this season out of 16 games where they have scored 2 runs or fewer. 6 times it's happened at home. They're 1-6 on the season. And again yesterday, the offense cannot deliver in the clutch. 7th inning, first 2 runners on. Moore gets hit by a pitch. Garver walks. Raleigh flies out. Luke Raley finally gets a start, hits into a double play. 8th inning, Rojas and JP walk. Haniger strikes out. Polanco walks. So you got the bases loaded, 1 out. Ty France been arguably your best hitter this year. But the old Ty France came up and he hits into a double play, inning over. So done. So your offense one more time. 2 prime innings in which your guys need to come through. They don't come through. And just continues to be a reoccurring theme this year. I mean, we don't have enough time here on the Daily Puck Drop to go through all the offensive numbers. They rank dead last in everything. They're just, bottom of the barrel almost in every single statistical category. And it's just it's a head scratcher. It's trying not to get frustrated with these guys after 16 games and reminding yourself that it's still early in the season. They have enough time to turn it around and the weather gets warm and all that stuff. But God damn it, it is so annoying every single year to watch the same offensive putrid execution every single year with these guys. And we go into every offseason begging for them. Can you please fix it? Whatever it is, players, personnel, coaching, fix it. And they have not fixed it. So I don't even know anymore. Is it a player problem? Is it a personnel problem? Is it a management problem? Is it a coaching problem? It's everything. It's everything. I know others quickly have been screaming for this. I don't want to see any more Seby Zavala on the field. No more. Get him off. No more. He doesn't get to play anymore. There is no reason for this guy to play. I would ask them, what does he do? It's the old Office Space line. What is it that he does around here? What does he do well? Well, he doesn't hit. He doesn't play good defense. And I bet you the pitchers, if they're honest with themselves, would say he doesn't call a good game. So what is it that he does? Why is he here? My guess is he's not going to be here very much longer. But that is going to go down for Jerry Dipoto and Justin Hollander as maybe the worst trade they've ever done, because they have gotten nothing out of this. I don't know if they wanted to do it or this was an ownership thing, but because they wanted to save a few bucks, they got rid of a Gold Glove caliber third baseman, a guy who hits for power, who's still doing it now, who is a awesome teammate and was beloved in that clubhouse, for a third baseman who has an issue throwing over to third, can't hit, and for a backup catcher that can't do anything, and then a reliever who you lost for the season. I mean, it will go down as as maybe their worst trade ever. I mean, it was just a giveaway. And whether they wanted to do it or ownership made them do it, which I've always believed this is more of an ownership issue than it is perhaps Dipoto and Hollander. But my God, it just a disaster, an absolute disaster of a trade. Canzone injures his shoulder, making that play against the wall. He's going to head on the IL. Jonathan Clase, widely reported last night, he's going to be called up. He's on the 40-man roster. He's ranked as the 10th best prospect in the M's organization. He's a small guy. He's 5'9", $150. He's a switch hitter, became a switch hitter a couple of years ago. Hits better from the left side. So you'll see probably that platoon out there with him and Dylan Moore. Strikes out, 26% K rate there in Tacoma, but has been described as someone who is both exciting and maddening at the same time just because of how he plays. But we'll see. He'll get an opportunity to come up. They'll start a series later today with the Reds. George Kirby against Frankie Montas. Then it's Logan Gilbert on Tuesday. Bryce Miller on the day game there on Wednesday. Head out to the ball. I can't wait to go out there. We're going Tuesday night, me and the Vampire, to go see Ellie De La Cruz. I can't wait to see this guy. One of the most, if not the most exciting player in baseball, along with Ohtani. Kind of a must-watch. I hope one kind of gets there in the gap and we can see him take off. Real quick to the NBA. Anyone but OKC, okay? If you're not following the NBA, and I get it for a lot of you people out there, we don't want to follow the NBA anymore. We hate the NBA because of what happened with the Sonics. I get all that. I totally understand where y'all are coming from. But now it's time to get interested because they're the number 1 seed in the Western Conference. They're unbelievably good, and they're young, and they're not going away. The only thing that will break up this team is going to be simply their owners don't have enough money. They won't be able to pay them, and they're all going to leave eventually. When Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is your oldest starter and he's 25 years old, you got a problem for years to come. Their average age of their top players is 24. Okay? 24. It's unbelievable how good they are. And that we need them to lose. I want to see them get eliminated immediately. I don't want to see them around. I don't want to hear any references about Seattle. Nothing about the Sonics. Nothing. So here's who you're rooting for. Because they're either going to face this in the first round. Because the play-in stuff starts on Tuesday. Pelicans. Okay. Get a Pelicans jersey. Lakers. I know you may hate LeBron, but it's time to root for LeBron. The Kings. I know they should have been up here. And hopefully it's for us because of the connection. For Clay, for me, it's the Warriors. They're going to face one of those teams. So hopefully one of those teams will knock them out and get them out of the playoffs immediately. Speaking of the NBA, cool little project that's coming up. I'm going to do a podcast, and many of you probably have heard of it, the Iconic Sonics podcast. Gasman's been doing it forever. Chris Daniels does some work with them. George, it's a part of kind of George Carl, his podcast network, and Iconic Sonics, who they've kind of done a bunch of shows of reliving the past memory of the Sonics. They're kind of looking ahead as Sonics that we appear. They're going to be coming back. But I'm going to tape an episode tomorrow on their platform, Iconic Sonics podcast, with George Carl. And we may have a special guest. But that's going to be coming up tomorrow, and then will be released shortly. And the genesis of this article is going to be George Carl was actually in Oklahoma City this weekend and kind of bearing the hatchet, so to speak, was kind of like hey, let's put it into this, the animosity, hatred towards them. That's going to be interesting because I still have it. So we're going to agree to disagree on this one. But we're going to talk to George Carl on the Iconic Sonics podcast, which will tape tomorrow, be released probably later this week. And he was recently in Oklahoma City, looking ahead to kind of bearing that past and looking ahead to the future of the Sonics NBA coming back to Seattle. But anyone, again, Pelicans, Lakers, Kings, Warriors, just somebody knock them off. Get them out. I don't want to deal with these guys. I don't want to hear about them. I don't want to see them on TV, reference anything when they do something, say, oh, well, it's the first time since they did that when they were in the Seattle Supersonics. I don't want to hear any of that. Miles Rice went to Indiana. For all the Coug fans out there, I know some of you are upset. I get it. I'm disappointed, not upset. I love the kid. I wish he would have stayed at Wazoo. I'll be rooting for him. I hope he continues to grow as a player. I hope he develops a better jump shot from the three-point line, because when he does that with all the rest of his skill set, he's going to be a hell of a player, and I think he's going to be a long-time pro in the NBA. He's got to get a better shot, but I wish nothing but the best for Miles Rice. Puck the Picker Masters Pool winners. We did our first Puck the Picker Masters Pool. Big thanks to Bill Sanders, the Sandman over there at runmypools.com. I think we'll do it again for the PGA Championship, also the U.S. Open and the Open Championship, and we'll continue to give away prizes. We gave away 3 prizes, a $150 gift card to John Howie Steak, a $75 gift card to Georgetown Brewery, and $50 to Flat Stick Pub. Congratulations. The $150 gift card to John Howie Steak, Cam Mora. Hopefully I'm pronouncing your last name right, Cam. Cam Mora, the $150 gift card to John Howie Steak. Rodney Conway gets the $75 gift card to Georgetown Brewery. And Tyler Christofferson gets the $50 gift card there to Flat Stick Pub. Big thanks to John Howie Steak, Georgetown Brewery, and Flat Stick Pub for those gifts. So coming up later on the program, pucksports.com, also YouTube, Apple, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you find your podcast, we'll have our 2 Monday guests, Jim Duquette, all things on Major League Baseball, MLB Network Radio, Sirius XM, and then Bill Kruger, Root Sports, talking specifically about the M's. Duquette will talk about the Ohtani situation, other major storylines there in Major League Baseball. All of our regular guests, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, all will be released at 1 o'clock. So you'll find those later today at 1 o'clock, pucksports.com. YouTube, you can always watch it. Please leave a comment. Please rate the podcast, like them, subscribe them. It's good for me. It's good for business. So people like it. We can pump it all out to our advertisers and new advertisers and all that. And it just, frankly, makes me feel better about myself, guys and gals, okay? So be sure when you're on Apple and Spotify and Amazon, please like it and rate it, subscribe to it, send it on to your family and friends. Special guest coming up tomorrow on the DPD, the Daily Puck Drop. We're going to spend a few minutes. I haven't talked to him in a long time. Larry Stone, former columnist of the Seattle Times, is going to join us coming up tomorrow for a few minutes just to talk about retirement. How's it like not working with Ryan Divish and Bob Condotta anymore? Does he miss it? What is he going to do in retirement? How's his golf game? Favorite memories of covering sports? I can't wait to talk to one of my favorite people in the world, Larry Stone, coming up tomorrow on the Daily Puck Drop. Also, our weekly visit with John Canzano. All right, we will talk to you soon. As always, we promise to be better.
Shirt, no shoes, no ties.
Would anybody like to smoke some pot?
Yeah.
I was born to love you. I was born to lick your face. I was born to rub you. But you were born to rub me first.
What do you need my address for?
We'd like to send out a mailer.
Mother of mercy, I don't speak Japanese!